Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Survive! It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going?
Yes, it's me. Fine. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, man. How was your turkey day? Everything good?
That's none of your business or the business of our fans. Continue.
The Kliqs want to know, what'd you eat?
The clickbaiters want to know that I had turkey, yams, mashed taters, stuffing, Brussels sprouts, and canned a cranberry sauce.
Now, okay, then the cranberry sauce, you don't eat it by itself. You put it on other stuff.
I mix everything together. I'm a disgusting pig.
Okay, it's just like a big bucket.
I need to taste everything in each bite.
A blender.
It's like a blended. It's yeah. I am. You can't take me to restaurants.
Well, no, it's funny. I've seen so many people over the last week talk about what's their favorite, Thanksgiving item, this or that, and it's like, I don't know. After a while, it's like, okay, how entertaining can that conversation really be? It's like, it's not, it's such a filler thing.
This is me trying to get people to comment on my post.
Exactly. So I'm like, for me, I'm personally, stuffing's number one for me. So I love stuffing. My brother made a stuffing for us this year with sausage and all that stuff. So, which, by the way,
sausage. And you're stuffing?
Yes, exactly. I do want to give a big shout out and thank you to my brother Tommy. He cooked Thanksgiving once again this year. So my dad and I were very well fed. So Tommy did a phenomenal job. And because of that, so much of the prep and the shopping and the cooking, he didn't have a chance to watch.
Tommy's had a stroke.
No.
And he's in the hospital, guys. So please send your well wishes over at Iron Fist 1984. 82.
So,
and he'll appreciate that.
So yeah, Tommy was so busy with everything with Thanksgiving, he didn't have a chance to watch much wrestling. So that's why he's like, I can't do the podcast with you guys tonight. So I'm like, okay, it's fine. Go relax. He watched some football today, watched the Niners win, all the good stuff. But yes, I do want to give a big thank you to Tommy for taking care of us once again for the holidays.
No one cares. Move on.
It's the holiday season, man, by the way. But yes, so much to get into this week in WWE from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Let's go ahead and jump right into it for Monday Night Raw. So it was the fallout from Survivor Series. And we got our answer because last week we did the review for Survivor Series and we're on this cliffhanger of who stole the damn $100 million. It's probably only $100 to me.
That's not true. Look, did you see it? It was gold.
$100 million golden egg, Cleopatra's golden egg that Vince McMahon brought to Survivor Series that apparently The Rock gave him. And he stepped out of the room and it disappeared. It was stolen. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville were on a big chase for a goose hunt, I was going to say, for this egg for the next 24 hours. Trying to figure out who stole this damn egg. And so Vince said he wanted both rosters, Raw and SmackDown, to be on Raw this week, which I thought, okay, this is a very clever way of having both your rosters on the show. So it's like a super show, an all-star, because we had some guys from SmackDown wrestle on Raw this week. So I was like, oh, that's a little sneaky way of getting, members from the other show on here. Cause, they had the Invitational every once a quarter.
Yeah.
Because I know the brands are separate, but every once in a while they find a reason for someone from the other show to appear on Raw.
I'm into that. I think it could be kind of fun if they did something like that whenever they have one of the big pay-per-views, the big four.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? I was like, I rewatched Raw this morning, and it made me just think. I was rewatching the whole Vince McMahon segment stuff, and I realized, one, if you have $100 million golden egg, why would you walk out of the room and leave it there by itself? Like, wouldn't you have
get a bodyguard?
Like, would you have it surrounded by guys in weapons or it's $100 million?
He's Vince McMahon. He's a human weapon.
He can just stop himself, but
yeah,
because we know he quote took a call during Survivor Series, and that's when the egg disappeared. But I was just thinking about that, from a common sense, and that's something this week between SmackDown and Raw. It was just a lot of common sense issues I had with I try to suspend my disbelief. I know it's pro wrestling.
People get a little crazy around the holidays. That's
sports entertainment. But there were things that happened on Raw and SmackDown this week that just scratched my head. It's come on, that doesn't make sense. But so anyway, they start off Raw and they're looking for the golden egg still, and we see Vince McMahon talking to Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, and they had security footage and something with a chest, and Vince is like, oh, so what you're telling me it could have been a woman. Vince McMahon, I will admit, I know we don't see Vince hardly on TV anymore, but when we do, I still enjoy it.
Of course.
I pop for it still. But and he tells Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, it's have all the, whoever finds the egg will pretty much get a number one contendership title match that night against Big E. So that became this little time bomb throughout the show.
The theme
of the night. And, we see everyone in the roster or I guess you could say 24/7 title scene and some other people just going around Barclays Center, ripping doors down and throwing stuff. Dude, I was getting such a headache though, because the camera work was shaking. I was let the wrestlers run around and throw stuff, break it, which is funny. Rhea Ripley, grabbed the chair,
oh my God,
and just lifted it up. And
she was going through someone's bag and throwing things out left and right.
She just throws I don't know.
She probably had the most fun.
Yeah, but they're just destroying a bunch of stuff, and the camera works. Let the camera just sit still. Let the superstars destroy everything, and we can just watch that. You don't need to create more chaos of shaking camera. I was getting dizzy and watching this. So
it's good.
Oh my God. So ultimately, Sami Zayn talking to Vince McMahon, and he says he knows who it is, and Vince is who? And he's I'm 95% sure. He's you better tell me, or I'm gonna fire you, whatever. And he says, I know. And he's you go get him, bring him to me.
Bring me in.
And so then eventually we see Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, Sami Zayn comes walking in, and Austin Theory comes in, and Vince McMahon says, who are you? And he says, Austin Theory. And he's Austin. So the mention, just the word Austin. Austin, it's just probably for Vince, it's PTSD.
Trauma,
trauma from 96 to what, 2003, all over again.
Poor guy.
So, but Austin Theory just revealed that, he took the egg and because he wanted to get a photo with it, a selfie, got scared, ran out, and he's been having it the whole time. And
it's reasonable, his fear.
But I was thinking, it's but the security thing. If there was all this security, wouldn't they've seen him take the egg in the first?
He went through the vents. He really wanted that selfie.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Now that's something that they should have done.
Yeah, explain.
There should have been some sort of footage of him sprawled out, coming out of the
reenactment or something.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Do a reenactment. This is how I got out. So that's what was one. I was I was just shaking my head. It was so goofy. Then ultimately,
goofy, you mean super good.
Vince said, I appreciate you telling me. You remind me of myself, and you get the title shot. And Sami Zayn's like, wait a second. I brought him here. And he's like, I should get it. And he's like, no one likes a snitch. So
yeah, snitches get stitches.
I mean, ultimately, as we now know, this whole storyline that played out on the pay-per-view, Survivor Series, and Raw was one big commercial for Red Notice, The Rock's new movie with Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds.
Which you still haven't seen. I'm telling our listeners right now that
I've not seen it. I don't know. I just part of me was like, I try to laugh at this, but at the same time, I just shook my head of the logistics. Like,
I don't understand the problem here.
Just like, how do you walk out with $100 million? Like,
oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was so hung up on this. I was like, this does not make sense. It's not so much that the angle itself is like a silly angle. It's the fact that, well, how did he do it? I need to know how he did it. I did laugh with R-Truth when they were tearing up the room looking for the egg. He held up the football. And he's like,
I got it!
And then he went to the women's restroom. He's like, it's not in there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God. So, anyway, mystery solved. Austin Theory took the golden egg and led him getting a title shot. And so we'll talk about the main event in a little bit because there's some other stuff that happened that led into the main event as well, as far as Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins' involvement, which we'll get into in 1 second here. The other thing that did make me laugh, and you could argue these guys are probably the biggest things, best things on Raw right now, is RK Bro. The whole relationship between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, or just Riddle. And, Randy Orton's like cutting a promo and he's like, I don't know where Riddle is. I haven't seen him since our match in Survivor Series. And all of a sudden Riddle walks up and he's just dressed up like Randy Orton. He's got his hair pulled back. He's got a mustache, goatee, cut off hoodie, and he's wearing like black trunks. And he's like, sorry, man, I've been gone. I've been doing Viper stuff all day. So, I really enjoyed this, though. It's because I feel like I'm sure it's an inside joke is how much Riddle can do to try and make Randy Orton laugh.
Yeah, and it looks like he gets away with it every week because Randy seems to smile at something every week, even if it's like walking to the ring.
Yeah. Riddle, so yeah, he's like, let's go. He had a match Riddle did against Ziggler, and he's like, I'm gonna zigzag on whatever. Like, I want to know how much is like ad lib and how much is like scripted. It just,
I'm gonna guess that Riddle is scripted and Orton doesn't know what he's gonna say.
Okay, so that would be cool. It's almost like on Weekend Update. Remember that one guy who would try to I forgot the character, but he always had to read whatever it was for the first time live, and he didn't know what it was. So anyway, no, he goes out the ring, and he's even walking like Randy Orton, and Randy's just walking behind him.
Shaking his head.
And then the match was pretty good. Obviously, it's Ziggler, total pro veteran. He's going to deliver a good match. But, I was laughing because what did Corey Graves, he said it's not a goatee, it's a chin toupee.
Chin toupee. Which I like. I'm going to use that from now on.
I was like, I wish they would have done this maybe around Halloween and Riddle could say, my Halloween costume is you, bro. Like, I do like the dynamic. I mean, it's really grown on me, the two of them, because Riddle is like the younger, obnoxious brother. Randy Orton's like the older brother, veteran. So,
I just like how when they became a team, like night one, all the dirt sheets were saying, he's going to turn on any second now. And it's like, how many months later and a title later, and they're still together.
Yeah. And so actually, that's a question I wanted to ask you is like, okay, I don't want this to end anytime soon, but it's going to have to end eventually. I'm assuming it involves somehow when they lose the titles at some point.
I'm guessing it's going to be close to Mania.
Yes.
I think we're going to get Randy Orton, Matt Riddle at WrestleMania.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that because that's what I'm thinking too. I think that's going to be the story. It's going to be classic WWE creative / booking where you put two odd people, attracting together.
Frankenstein tag team.
Yeah, and makeshift tag team, and let them be successful. Then eventually they break up and they go in each other with a feud with each other. we know Randy Orton. That was the big thing. He always turns his back on people here.
He's not a good guy.
Do you think Randy's going to be the one to turn on him here whenever it does happen next year? Or do you think Riddle's going to be the one to actually turn on him and just surprise everyone?
Oh, it's too early to tell for that, because we would have to start to see some cracks in Riddle believing in Randy.
Okay.
Because right now, I mean, Randy could do it at any point. You know, he could do it, next Monday.
Just pissed off.
Yeah. And like take him out for a couple months. And and Riddle come back in the Rumble and throw out Randy or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you could also play it that Randy's the babyface and Riddle's the heel. Because realistically, Matt Riddle's just been a babyface for a year, and we've only seen him on the main roster for a year. And what happened in NXT didn't really happen in WWE world. So
yeah,
I think Riddle is in a win-win situation no matter what happens.
I mean, I think they're both obviously the biggest act on Raw right now. Everyone loves
for sure.
But I'm like, how do you get to that breakup point? Because it's so obvious that Randy, who's notoriously one of the best heels of all time, or most of his career, he's a heel. You think he would somehow sabotage this relationship and turn on Riddle. And theoretically, Riddle can be the biggest babyface because everyone loves him right now. He's so over, so you keep that momentum going with the singles run.
But we've also seen with this relationship where Randy has already RKO'd him, and then Riddle apologizing. So it's like he's not letting Randy like end this relationship. And so I think you're onto something with Riddle's going to be the one to turn on Randy.
Because literally, like an RKO out of nowhere, you would not expect Riddle to be the one to do it. But I just wonder, would that hurt him long term? He has such good... He's so over with the fans, like I said, that if we turn him heel, would that really be a service to him? I mean, that's...
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like with Nakamura, right? Nakamura comes out. Everyone knows that song. Everyone's cheering for it. He becomes a bad guy. They change his music so you can't sing along to it because now you've got Japanese rapping over it. And then when he becomes a babyface again, it's like nothing happened. People are singing the song again, aren't they?
So anyway, that's something I'm curious how that's going to play out with the two of them. Is we know it's not going to last forever, and not going to be champions forever.
What if they are?
That would be pretty amazing. Like 20 years from now, we're still champions, bro. I'm still dressing up like you once a year.
Yeah.
Doing Viper stuff for the next 20 years.
Stuff.
So anyway, we'll see how this plays out. I mean, like I said, I hope ride this through December, Royal Rumble season. Maybe you could a little tease in the Royal Rumble match. Maybe one eliminates the other or something. A little tension there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Also, next up, it was revealed another match was going to happen between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor.
Good match.
Seth Rollins comes out and he's just shaking his ass. He's like,
He was over like Rover in Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, and he was bragging about his accomplishments the night before Survivor Series, how he saved a team. He won it for them.
Did he not?
Correct. You're right. Yeah. His ego was like bigger than Barclays Center
and it
that
should
night.
Be. He single-handedly beat 5 other men.
Exactly. So Finn Balor comes out and he attacks him, and no match actually happens. But Seth curb stomps him a couple times and just beats the crap out of Finn, finishes laying there. So Seth's walking out the ramp, and this is probably the biggest story of the night is he's walking up the ramp and he turns around and some crazy fan comes running out from the side of the ramp and tackles Seth Rollins. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? Because that does not look like a WWE superstar. Some guy with his pants falling down, butt crack is showing. And they immediately cut away and they go to replays and stuff. Of course, thank you to social media and the fans that were there from multiple angles. People were filming and the video's been out there. Come to find out it was a fan that attacked Seth Rollins.
Crazy person.
Yeah, so Seth got speared down, but he grabbed the guy, put him in a chokehold, and the refs came in.
Isn't that the third guy on television that's gone after Seth?
Yeah, because Seth was coming down the ramp when he was the double champion. It was like standing next to him.
And then he had the one when he was in the Shield.
Yes.
Some guy jumped up right in front of him and was like, oh my God, why? Look at him and look at you.
So, the refs come in, security, get the guy down off Seth, and they take him away. So it was revealed he was arrested and going to be charged. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to make fun of this part, but the guy did release some more videos on social media, and
he's a loony.
Yeah, if you watch it, unfortunately, it looks like he's someone that does need some mental help, and hopefully he gets that. You just watching the videos, you can see he's not all there. It was revealed that apparently a fake Seth Rollins account was contacting him on social media, asking for money, and so the guy just got duped by a fake Seth Rollins account trolling him. And I guess was talking crap to him, and that's why I think he felt reason to attack him. So he released a video and said he did it for Roman Reigns and the Bloodline.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. So this guy, he's not mentally all there. Like I said, I hope he gets help. But on top of that, he was duped by a fake Seth Rollins account, and he's a fan of Roman Reigns. Want to do it for Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. So I don't know. It made for a crazy moment, and I hope the guy does get some help. But luckily, nothing else bad happened that night. But man, that turned into the biggest story for the next few days. Like, people were asking me who are not wrestling fans, you see the fan attack Seth Rollins? That went so viral. So, I guess it was good press for WWE, or at least got people
talking. Any press is good press.
Yeah. So, but no, with that being said, it was crazy. I guess, a lot happened on this show. We don't have to go through everything, but I just want to get your thoughts real quick on Queen Zelina and Carmella defeating Rhea Ripley and Nikki A.S.H. become the new women's tag team champions. I
like it a lot for the sake of, you look at the two teams next to each other and you don't think that team's going to win. Mm-hmm. That should be what tag team wrestling is, because if you're paying attention to what's going on in the match, like Carmella and Zelina were doing more tag team tactics in the match, throughout the match. I get it. Like Rhea's supposed to come in and get the hot spot, or the hot tag.
Yeah.
But like Zelina and Carmella just kept cutting that off for Nikki. I think that they've been working their butts off lately, so I think it's a good move, because Rhea and Nikki aren't really lighting the division on fire.
They haven't been doing much as a whole, as a tag team. Like, those belts hardly been divided, and Rhea was the only one that had a match at Survivor Series. Even leading into this match, Carmella and Zelina Vega were making fun of Nikki A.S.H. that she is the weak one of the group, which is just ironic to me, because it's like, she's the current tag team champion. She's a former Raw Women's champion, Money in the Bank winner. So I'm like, Nikki A.S.H. has a lot of accomplishments. At the same time, I'm just shaking my head like, what do you think of Queen Zelina's like British accent that she's trying to do?
She's a queen.
I don't know. It's like, just because you won the queen title, you don't change your voice. Like,
yes, it does. She's regal.
Oh my God. I was just like, this is.
What? I
was like, no, you don't need to do that. Like,
see, I think she does.
Oh, man. But no, so anyway, what I want to get at, so the match itself, Carmella got her Kane mask on, that red mask.
Oh God.
Like, it looks like Kane mask. But yeah, she hit a couple, super kicks, took out Rhea Ripley on the outside, and then took out Nikki A.S.H. and then Zelina Vega hit the code red, and a clean victory right there, more or less. I was kind of like, wow.
Yeah. I thought it was a fun match for what it was.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm getting at is, okay, what's next for this women's division? Because it kind of opens things up. So for Zelina Vega and Carmella, okay, cool, heel tag team champions. It fits their story, or it fits what they're becoming, like this alliance friends.
Keeps them hot.
Zelina capitalizing on being the new queen of WWE, gives them something to do. Heels, heel champions. That way you can find some baby faces to go after them. But now, do you think Rhea Ripley should now go back after the Raw Women's Championship and potentially be Becky Lynch's next opponent.
It opens her up for that, and I think, there's some rumors a while back about Alexa Bliss going back to her regular character, not being evil anymore, or that version of evil. And you can just plug her back in with Nikki if they need something for them to do. So, I mean, look, we talked about, I think last week or the week before, that Liv Morgan most likely is not going to beat Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch can give her a good match still.
Yeah.
And make everyone happy. So who's next in line after Liv Morgan? You just said it. I think Rhea Ripley is going to be the next one behind that, because we've seen Becky and Bianca. So let's move on and heat Rhea Ripley back up. So.
Okay. So it looks like, Becky's
Also, let's get those damn women's tag team titles on SmackDown once in a while, okay?
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's Zelina Vega and Carmella. Maybe go over there a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of, okay, maybe one reason why they got the belts now. But no, I'm with you, because I'm thinking, okay, now the women's division, this opens things up. We saw Liv Morgan and Becky have that backstage segment where, dude, Becky Lynch tore Liv Morgan apart. Like, Liv Morgan was tearing.
We didn't even bring that up. Becky Lynch opened the show. And tore the crowd a new one.
Yeah, so that's the thing. She said, "Hey, great match. We had a great match." Yeah. But at the same time, you guys are doing
shame on all of you for singing and dancing. You think I didn't see that? Blah blah.
Doing
blah,
the
blah.
wave. I'm like, I like that. You. Like, thank you for calling them out on that BS. Fickle. So, I loved all that. And then she tore Liv Morgan a new one. Liv Morgan had crying face, it looked like, and didn't really respond. So. Yeah, Liv Morgan, Becky are going to have a program. I'm guessing, I don't know if it's going to be a match on Raw or if it's going to be at that New Year's Day 1 show, but that's what's next. And then, now my thinking is, okay, Rhea Ripley's trying to be next after that. I don't think Bianca Belair is going to be in the picture anytime soon, because she's been busy. She had a match with Tamina this week, and then Doudrop attacked her. So it looks like Bianca Belair is going to be busy kind of with that for a minute.
Floating.
Yeah, so just floating around. So hopefully maybe they can warm her back up, as you say, for like maybe a WrestleMania run again or something like that. I mean, I could see even maybe Rhea Ripley winning the Royal Rumble next year, because she finished second to Bianca this year. So maybe that's what this is leading towards. So Liv Morgan, hate to say it, is just a transitional opponent for right now.
Yeah, but I also think this is their way of leveling her up through the crowd and with a top tier opponent, because I feel like Liv Morgan is in better shape to face a Becky Lynch than she would be to face a Charlotte.
So we'll see how this plays out. But Rhea Ripley, I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, my only concern is Nikki A.S.H. though. Where does she go from here?
24/7 title.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. So Dana Brooke won the title, and all the guys backed off and didn't go after her.
I love that. Everyone literally was like,
And wasn't Carmella when she was champion? If I remember, the women's division would chase her around.
Yeah.
Amber Moon got hurt for doing that. So I wonder, they're like, okay, let's step away from the men's side of things as far as having that title, bring some focus to the women's division. I wonder if that's what's going to happen here. Is like.
I'd be into that. I like that idea.
So women's division is now going to be focusing on going after that 24/7 title. So maybe, Nikki A.S.H. goes there, but I feel so bad. Like, I feel like that's such a downgrade for her and what she's been accomplishing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we think that way because of how they presented it with the men, but remember at one point in time, the hardcore title was the same
rule,
value.
Stipulation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, same value, but then all of a sudden the Undertaker wins it. And it's like, okay, this is a real belt now.
Yeah,
and then Rob Van Dam wins it, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So,
what if Becky wants to be Becky Two Belts?
She just takes it off. Dana Brooke just rolls her up real quick.
Yes.
I mean, we'll talk about the main event here. Anything else from Raw that stood out for you? I mean, feel like those are kind of the big takeaways. I mean, I know Bobby Lashley had the handicap match against the Mysterios.
Yeah, that was fun for what it was.
Yeah, I was like, okay, is Dominic going to break up from his dad still and turn on him at some point? That's the big question. Sami Zayn showed up from SmackDown, had a match with Damian Priest for the U.S. title because he was having an open challenge. Apollo Crews came out and wanted to challenge him, but Sami Zayn came out and said, "Hey, I brought in Austin Theory, the guy who stole the golden egg. I didn't get my title shot. I still want a title shot of something tonight." So wanted the challenge with Damian Priest. So he still lost though. And then, so speaking of the golden egg, Austin Theory, he got his title shot in the main event against Big E. Great main event here. You know, it wasn't super long, but it was good showing for Austin Theory. But the big thing was Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens sitting ringside. But sure. Seth Rollins, did you laugh when he came out and he was like mocking the crowd and like looking to see if anyone's coming after him, running up to him. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I mean, the more of the story here was, yes, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens hanging ringside. They're, have interest in the title. They're very much in the title picture, Big E's next opponent. So Austin Theory lost here, but we see Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens argue and stuff. So I'm curious who's going to get the title shot first. I mean, Seth does have that contract.
Kevin's getting a title shot on Monday.
Is it a Monday now? Yeah. Okay, so he's first up. So yeah, because he said he had an interest in watching this match. So
our next big pay-per-view is the Rumble.
I guess technically that day one.
Sure. So Seth will probably get his match with that contract either then or at the Rumble, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's see. Because, I remember Theory got distracted, got hit with the big ending, and then, Rollins, KO were arguing. So, so it looks like Kevin Owens first, and I'm sure Seth Rollins will get involved. Seth Rollins. Now, here's the thing. Part of me is I kind of wish Seth maybe stayed on SmackDown. I think he would have been a great opponent for Roman Reigns right now. But he's on Raw, and,
Well, you don't think Sami's going to win the belt on Friday?
Well, okay, we'll get into that in a second.
That's my pick.
Seth Rollins, he's gained a lot of good momentum right now. The crowd is like chanting along with him the whoa of his theme song. I kind of wonder, are they going to pull the trigger and let him beat Big E for WWE Championship? Yeah.
Listen to the crowd. Who's getting the bigger pop when they come out? Seth Rollins or Big E?
Seth Rollins right now.
Yep.
So I think I feel kind of bad because for Big E, it's kind of a short title reign, but he is champion. No one can ever take that away from him.
That's right.
And he can go on to maybe another babyface run to try to get back the title at some point. So, I think that's what it's looking like. Seth Rollins is going to be the new champion at some point in very near future. So, we'll see what happens. So, hopefully that golden egg, is safe and sound now with Vince McMahon, and Vince doesn't bring any more public appearances because Austin Theory might try to get another selfie. Which, by the way, great selfie he got with Vince McMahon. That was on social media.
You jealous?
I am jealous. I would love to meet and take a photo with Vince McMahon. If you meet Vince McMahon, you had one question to ask him, what would you ask him? Besides asking for a selfie.
It probably wouldn't be wrestling related.
Okay.
Because I feel like those are types of questions that I would, it's easily going to come out at some point. So it would most likely be music related because that's my other background.
Okay. And honestly, I know Vince is so protective of the business. He probably would never give like a real answer.
Well, I mean, even if I had that, if that option was on the table, it would still just kind of be like, it's, I feel like everything's kind of been answered for the most part. You know what I mean?
I'll ask
him. What do you ask him?
Was the screw job really a work?
Bro.
Because Jimbo and I, for the longest time, for years.
If it was, Vince Russo would have spilled the beans by now because that guy can't keep his mouth shut.
Well, no, because Jimbo, a long time ago, conspiracy theory thinks that it really was he's just joking though, but he was like, he thinks it's a work, like literally only Vince,
I know.
Only Vince, Brett, and Sean are the only three that can confirm that.
I think if it was a work, it would just be between Brett and Vince.
Yeah.
I don't even think Sean would know.
Okay.
But I don't think so.
So, like, maybe on Vince's deathbed or after he's dead, someone can, like, say, yeah, it was a work, man. Or like,
they would have made money off of it at this point because, like, TNT's or Turner's under different management. So it's like they could have revealed that and they could have revealed the ultimate company takedown. But it's not like Brett took down Turner. Like, Brett made a bunch of money off of going to WCW.
Yeah. And Vince told him to, like, hey, go make your money, man. So I can't pay that much, but go make it if you can. So anyway, yeah. And that's the thing. Let us know. Email us intthekliq@gmail.com. If you had one question for Vince McMahon, what would it be? So curious what you guys think. All right, let's jump on over to Friday Night SmackDown this week. And this, man, I'm telling you, this episode of SmackDown, like, okay, I try to suspend disbelief about a golden egg disappearing that's worth $100 million and not more security will be watching it.
It was actually worth that much. Come on.
SmackDown, though, this was, I don't get what was going on here as far as, okay, Kayla Braxton's in the ring and she starts talking about Brock Lesnar's indefinite suspension status. Before she can, like, get out what she's trying to say.
She's got sources.
Roman and Paul Heyman cut her off, and then comes to the ring, and Roman's talking about rumors are for losers and going on.
I like that.
And then later on in the night, Paul Heyman confronts Caleb Braxton, says, if you can't confirm or like, that's why I'm confused. Like, if you can't confirm if Brock Lesnar is going to be back next week or whatever, you're going to get fired. I was like, wait, why is Paul Heyman making these decisions? Shouldn't it be like Adam Pearce?
Paul Heyman's got stroke. It's the same reason. Like, remember when they had Brock on SmackDown and they drafted Brock to Raw? Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of like the ongoing thread of, like, Paul Heyman has a certain amount of leverage over the WWE with things he knows and people he manages. So it's just kind of like, okay, well, we've got this is the whole reason why, like, everyone says the world champion holds all this power. It's because they do. Because if the world champion and your tag team champions don't show up, then you're kind of screwed, right?
Yeah. Well, my other thing too is then, like, later on the night, they're talking to Adam Pearce. They're like, "Hey, can you confirm if Brock Lesnar's suspension's being lifted?" And he's like, got all scared. And he's like, "No, I hope not." It's like, dude, you're like authority figure. I would think can control his status.
But you could also imagine that Roman's or Roman has a direct line to Vince. So I get it. You're jumping over the chain of command, but if you're the top star, you can afford to do such things. It's kind of like think of it like this. Think of it like this. Just to I know you're very upset.
This whole week of just like different things on Raw and SmackDown, like, that does not make sense logistically in the real world.
Jon Favreau directs Iron Man.
Yeah.
He's the director of Iron Man. He is not the owner of Iron Man. So imagine if Robert Downey Jr. has an issue with Jon Favreau and Jon Favreau doesn't want to talk about it, then Roman goes to whoever the president of Disney is.
Or Marvel Studios at the time.
Marvel Studios. Yeah.
Kevin Feige.
Oh, my God. Why do you know that?
Anyway. Yeah, dude. Everyone knows that.
No, they don't. Anyway. I hate you so much right now. You said that so nonchalantly.
Kevin Feige, man.
Anyway, God damn it. It's like, think of it like that. Like, it's just kind of, okay, this doesn't look good because we can't make this movie without this star.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Well, okay, so what I'm getting at is, so it's like, who is deciding Brock Lesnar's suspension is being lifted? Like, that was what I was confused.
God damn it!
Well, that's the thing, they never acknowledge. Like, who's above Adam Pearce to make that decision?
Well, dirt sheet writers don't reveal their sources either. So
the other thing though was Roman in the opening segment just was bragging about his accomplishments. He beat Brock around the world, beat Big E at Survivor Series. So it's like, what's next for him? He's like, just putting it out there. Whoever's next for me. And the main event was this Battle Royal, which I guess we go ahead and just talk about right now. So there was a Black Friday Battle Royal to determine who Roman Reigns' new number one contender, the next challenger would be. I don't know about you, man. It's like, wait, we're getting another Battle Royal in less than a week? Like, shouldn't they do...
You know how I feel about Battle Royals. I'm not a fan.
So, but yeah, and for me, I'm like, why not the Battle Royal they had at Survivor Series, the 25-man Battle Royal featuring Raw and SmackDown in honor of The Rock's 25th anniversary of his debut? Why not make that match determine the new number one contender for Roman Reigns? Like, we got 2 Battle Royals in 1 week. They should have made the one Survivor Series, because then that way you had Raw and SmackDown, and you know, it would have been a little bit more compelling. I don't know. Just that way there would have been some match with stakes at Survivor Series. I'm like, why are we doing this again? Like, it's ridiculous. But I mean, the match itself, it was what it is. You know, Battle Royal. I mean, at the very end.
Well, I think the reason for doing it on SmackDown like that is so you can have Sami Zayn say that he went through 20 other guys to win this and blah, blah, blah. And then Kayla stole the thunder from me.
So, and that's the thing. Like, Sami Zayn had a bad, well, like, his week went from bad to good. But so anyway, the match was pretty good. Okay, the beginning though, before the match, they revealed the list. It's like the final cuts for like making the basketball team or something.
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre was not on the list, even though he asked Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville to be on the list. And Sheamus is like, you don't want to look at the list. And they started laughing at him.
He's got no stroke.
So like Drew is pissed off at the beginning of this Battle Royal, comes out with the sword and just starts swinging it around.
Tries to behead some people.
I was like, what the hell's going on here? He says, I'm not leaving until I'm in this match. They go to commercial break. They come back and he's gone already. He's like, wait, how did Drew calm down and left the ring with the sword? Like, how they resolved that? Like,
they probably had him arrested.
So they had better security to stop a man with a sword.
Yes.
Than stopping someone with the egg.
Yes. Well,
or a fan attacking Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah. You look for the giant guy with the sword or the one wrestling fan running around the building. Which one do you think is going to be harder to find? The guy in his underwear with a sword? Or the fat guy that jumps a wrestler that looks like every other guy in the crowd?
I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like,
I've lived in this non-logical world for this long.
I know. It's like,
it all makes sense now.
Well, no, because the other thing too is like, I'm watching this and like my dad comes in and out of the room and he's like watching different things. He's like, what is going on here? So it's like, it's these moments on the show where like, how do you explain to someone who doesn't watch wrestling? And like, it doesn't make sense. They'll just shake their head and be like, what is going on here? So anyway, at the very end, it looked like Jeff Hardy was going to win the Battle Royal. Everyone was happy. And then Sami Zayn comes running in. He only went through the middle rope. Pushed Jeff Hardy over very much like Shawn Michaels did to, was it British Bulldog, where he pushed him over, snuck back in or whatever. So yeah, Sami Zayn won the Battle Royal and will now face Roman Reigns. So he didn't get his title shot Monday on Raw against Big E. He's now getting a title shot against Roman Reigns. Good for him. But Kayla comes in and confirms she got word. So it's like, who's telling her in her ear that Brock Lesnar's suspension's lifted? And Roman Reigns is all pissed off. So, like,
let me ask you this. What if they actually put the belt on Sami and Brock cost Roman the match?
It would get everyone talking. I would say that, but probably not. I mean, but I think what's going to happen is I think Brock is going to cost Sami and take his spot in the match or something like that. Because, you know, ratings might be down. So, like, we got to get that emergency button and get Brock in.
SmackDown's always up with their ratings for the most, you know, unless they put them on a
but I think
third tier site.
Well, no, I was going to say Brock is going to probably attack Sami. And then Sami, once again, has another conspiracy against him. Like another thing to motivate him to say, you know, they hate me. WWE people, they hate me. They're preventing me from winning. So, I don't know. It was just such a, I was just shaking my head.
It was a fun week.
It was.
I prefer, I know it's crazy and everything's messed up. I prefer weeks like this opposed to the Christmas week of wrestling.
Okay.
Because that's always just fluff and tape shows and just kind of like
filler. Yeah.
Filler. It's all filler.
Well, this one, okay. Two things real quick I want to ask you. So Cesaro took on Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland is the new, like, protege of Sheamus, you know, super fan. Ridge Holland loses. This is like his big match on SmackDown. Loses to Cesaro in less than 2 minutes. You know where I'm getting at with the comparisons here. like, this is your big debut, your next upcoming superstar. He loses, like, on his first match to Cesaro. Sheamus is sitting ringside, doesn't do anything. I mean, you know, my reaction is like this very much feels like, you know, Karrion Kross, Jeff Hardy a couple months ago. So, like,
no, well, I think the difference here is that Ridge Holland is paired with a bigger star. It's kind of like Madcap with Baron Corbin. It's you're or
Happy
Matt
Corbin.
Riddle with Randy Orton. You're kind of with someone that's more established. And you know, you're getting that rub from them, whether we like it or not. Like, you're picking up things from them that you. Because look, Ridge Holland's wrestling experience is minimal. Very. He's had under 10 matches
with the rugby stuff. Yeah. So, no, I just, for me, it's like, what are you doing here? Because, like, this is your big next young superstar, and he loses his first match. I'm like, how do you recover? I mean, hope they got something lined up.
Recover fine. He lost to an experienced veteran, because had he beat Cesaro, what's that say for Cesaro? That Cesaro couldn't beat a green rookie?
Well, that's the thing. Cesaro has fallen off so much in the last, 6 months since, God, was it May?
Pay-per-view main event?
Yeah, was that back in, like, May, right? Or June, whatever that was? It was right after WrestleMania. So, man, just how much time is, and what happened to Cesaro, and his stock has fallen. But, anyway, I just shook my head on that. I do think Happy Corbin and Madcap.
He's a heel, though, too. So it's kind of like, you know, heels can afford to lose. That's kind of the benefit of being a heel.
I have a feeling, though, Madcap and Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, I think they're going to be tag champions in the near future.
I do, too.
I think
whoever beats the Usos are going to lose it pretty quick after that.
Yeah, I know Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy beat Corbin and Madcap, which I'm happy for Jeff. Jeff got a win in Carolina, so North Carolina.
And he looked good on Sunday, so it didn't feel like they were just giving him something.
But yeah, I do think those two are going to be tag champions at some point. Happy Corbin and Madcap. Thanksgiving leftovers throwdown between Angel and Rick Boogs. We saw Humberto go through the table. Shinsuke kicked him, and he falls through.
I watched this one. I usually don't watch these, but because Rick Boogs is in there, I watched it.
It was a short match, but Rick Boogs got distracted, and Angel rolled him up for the victory. So, but it was funny because they left the food out there, and Charlotte used the pies to hit Toni Storm in the face a couple times. So I'm like, and that's another one. Very much how, like, Liv Morgan against Becky in their promo. She didn't really react and do anything. Toni Storm here gets pie in her face and doesn't, like, fight back. Like,
she's startled by it.
Yeah, she was just, like, frozen. It's like
frozen with fear.
It's like, you know, if you're number one contender, you want a title shot against Charlotte, because Charlotte was already complaining to Michael Cole in her promo that, you know, the ref should have saw that Becky cheated to win. You know, and Toni Storm comes out and wants to fight her, and so Charlotte throws pie at her and she doesn't do anything. I'm like, come on? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, Sasha Banks, I guess she's a babyface now, right? Yeah. I guess in defense of Naomi. So she's flip-flopping a lot now.
She kind of reminded the crowd that Naomi's a 2-time women's champion.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you're not treating her right.
Anyway, I was just like, you know, Sasha Banks was getting in Sonya's face on behalf of Naomi and said, if you would let me pick my own team, we would have won Survivor Series and all that stuff.
It's true.
Naomi did look good here in this match when they tagged up against Shayna Baszler and Natty. So Naomi, like, you know, she was getting her ass beat most of this match, but was able to bounce back and, like, great babyface comeback. So, you know, happy for Naomi. Her and Sasha pick up the victory. I do hope they pay off Naomi versus Sonya soon. I think it's been a good pacing.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's pay this off.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah. But that's about it for SmackDown.
Yeah, it was a quick show.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens next with them moving forward. It looks like they're still trying to figure out who's going to be in that main event scene. I mean, Brock's coming back. Sami looks like, as of right now, has a match against Roman. Drew, you know, is pissed off. is he going to be eventually another contender for Roman again at some point? So,
do you think Drew's going to win the Rumble again this year and go for Roman?
And that's the thing. It's like that's a big question. It's like who's going to beat Roman?
Member of the In The Kliq podcast, Drew McIntyre. I should say.
Exactly. I was going to say he's had more appearances on In The Kliq this year than Jimbo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jimbo.
Wow.
I'm not, it's just,
Wow. He's not going to hear this.
I know. So
if he does, Danny said it, not me. I love you, Jimbo. Way more than Danny does.
So
we shared a cab ride together. A very intimate cab ride.
I know that was or Uber ride.
Same thing.
Yeah. So I know I would love for them to run it back and get a make good for Drew McIntyre and get a big title win at a WrestleMania. And so I think Roman, his title reign, I mean, that's a whole nother subject we can get into if we think it's getting stale or not, the run he's on right now. But I would like to see Drew be the one to maybe dethrone him. I know they were supposed to have a big European show next summer. I thought, maybe they could do something there so Drew can win in front of his home, country or continent. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I mean, Austin Theory, keep in mind, he got the rub from Vince McMahon this week. Could Austin Theory eventually be a main event player at some point in the coming year or two?
Anybody can. Yeah. It's just a matter of the push.
So
but he's so young. I'm sure they will eventually.
Yeah. So no, I would love to see Drew McIntyre. I would love to see him be the one to beat Roman, but who knows?
You know who he kind of reminds me of, Austin Theory? He kind of reminds me of Kurt Angle when Kurt first came to WWE.
Yeah.
Just a total putz.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, let's jump on over to NXT 2.0 this week. We'll just power through this real quick since, more or less, this show really just kind of finalized some of the matches for WarGames, which is next Sunday. And no takeover in the title. It's just NXT WarGames. There's no takeover, like I said, in the pay-per-view.
I'm fine with that. I'm kind of. I saw people complaining about that. I think takeover kind of signifies one era. This is clearly a different show now, so we'll see how this is handled. This is just going to be in their performance center, isn't it?
Let me see.
You're just going to be in an arena.
It looks like at the performance center again. So it's going to be Sunday, December 5th at the Performance Center. So it's they're not taking over another arena. So that's
why it's not a takeover.
They're just staying home. So here we'll go through the card real quick and just kind of what we saw on NXT this week to kind of set that up. So it is official now. The WarGames match for the women's side of things is going to be Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray.
Cora Jade is growing on me.
Yeah, she definitely. Yeah. Just more personality in the last couple weeks. So good for her.
Who did you say after Cora Jade?
Kaylee Ray from NXT UK. Right. Yeah.
She was smashing things.
Yeah, she was smashing a bunch of stuff with a baseball bat this week. So taking on Toxic Attraction, which is, of course, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane, and Dakota Kai,
I'm into that.
Dakota Kai, she's acting all kind of like glitchy, right?
She's acting like she just woke up.
Yes, okay. So
that's how I am in the morning. This is why we don't record this in the morning.
You do it at nighttime.
Yeah.
So, we saw Cora Jade get a shocking surprise victory over Mandy Rose, I guess, non-title match, but partly due to Kaylee Ray just kind of distracting her, coming out with the baseball bat, swinging it around, breaking stuff. So, all right. So, Kaylee Ray says she wants in on the WarGames match, so it solidifies the 4-on-4 there. So, I'm digging that. I was like, okay, cool. And then for the men's side of things, it was finalized. It's pretty much old school versus new school of the the men's side of things. So old school is, the 1.0 era, if you want to call it that.
DIY.
Ciampa, Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight versus Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, who Carmelo Hayes has been calling himself, the leader of the new school or whatever. Grayson Waller and Tony D'Angelo. We saw, at the beginning of the show, Ciampa take on Grayson Waller. Ciampa, pretty much just destroyed him. And then after the match, Grayson Waller got into LA Knight's face. And then throughout the rest of the night, they just kept fighting each other all over the Performance Center. So obviously these guys hate each other. Obviously going back to Halloween Havoc when they had the same Dracula costume and all that. So that you knew these two hate each other, so they're going to be involved somehow. The main event, Carmella Hayes defended the North American Championship against Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne. I don't know about you, man. Johnny Gargano was the star of that match.
He was the star of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Pete Dunne, was kind of nice to see him not do all the broken finger stuff. It was just more wrestling out of him. You and I both.
Yeah, I concur. Because it was, I was just kind of like, I was really happy to see him work the double Boston Crab thing, but I think he should have gone for like a regular Boston Crab, but with one of each of their legs under his arm.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because that like, it just doesn't look painful. Like whenever Natalya does a double sharpshooter, to me it doesn't look painful. I get what you're going for in terms of this is a photo opportunity, but it's not possible to make that look good.
Yeah. Carmella Hayes, even though he's the champion, I felt he kind of was like the odd man out here.
Oh, he was.
Like
he's
the young...
greenish as goose shit.
Yeah, so he was definitely like the odd man, taking those bumps, going on the outside, be gone for extended periods of time here. And Pete Dunne, Johnny did the work in the ring. But Carmella Hayes does pick up the victory. And then we see LA Knight and Grayson Waller come into the ring. They're all fighting.
I've got a question. Just because my brain's not working right now. The WWE version of WarGames, you can win by pinfall, right?
Yes.
Okay, never mind. Just curious.
Yeah. Okay.
Because WCW, you had to win by submissions. I was just thinking the only person is Gargano that has like an established submission hold. So.
Saw Tony D'Angelo come out there as well. Yeah, he took out Pete Dunne in the match. That's right, because he's like kept calling Petey something, whatever nickname he had for him.
He had a Sopranos reference in his promo earlier in the night too, when he said he had a friend named A.S.H.
Yeah, and he said he's like trying to get bets on the main event here. So anyway, the young guys run out of the ring. The older veterans stand tall in the ring there, and then Braun Breaker's music hits. He comes out and yells, "WarGames!" Which it's not the same, man.
Not at all.
We need William Regal to be the one to do that. Come out and yell, "WarGames!" So both WarGames have been established, but no William Regal presence. Which, where is he? Like, are they like just slowly removing him as a character of the show?
Well, he has legitimate job duties in WWE as well.
Yeah, I know.
I know that Samoa Joe's kind of been posting videos on his Instagram timeline of scouting, and I think he's the one that's training Gable Steveson.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Okay.
Or he's one of them. Maybe they both are.
Yeah.
Because they built a facility for him so he can continue his college work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do know that. Yeah.
Insane to me. But,
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's some dedication.
Real quick, also, or go ahead. Sorry.
You know how like once in a blue moon we'll get a Michael Hayes or a Ted DiBiase. I think it would be a fun wink and a nod if they had something where Tony D'Angelo's on the streets of New York and he bumps into Nunzio. Hey, you got my money?
That would be pretty funny. Yeah. Real quick, it was announced Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson, hair versus hair match. Of course, last week they had the poker match and Duke lost. So for being a poker player gimmick, he sucks at every time he's on TV playing cards. But he got pissed at Cameron Grimes and cut his beard, cut his hair. Cameron Grimes cuts his promo and how much the hair means to him. And then Duke Hudson showed up on the screen and challenged him or Cameron Grimes challenged him. So hair versus hair at WarGames, which is going to be interesting because
who are you going for? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I heard a rumor that I think if Cameron wants to go on the main roster, he might have to cut his hair. So, I mean, that's, it's the internet. So I have a feeling Duke Hudson's going to win here just so Cameron Grimes cuts his hair and they want to see how he does with shorter hair from the audience. I think that's some sort of a test.
Okay.
Because he's already shaved the beard down, the hair a little bit. Duke Hudson, he doesn't have any facial hair. He has short hair on top. It's like, okay, I guess they give him a buzz cut, but he's already lost multiple times.
I don't know. I mean, I keep my hair relatively short, but I don't shave my head anymore. I used to once in a while when it was too hot outside. And
yeah,
I don't have the right head for that. So
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We saw Legado del Fantasma this week.
Oh my God, I hate you so much. Every time.
Santos Escobar made his big return to TV, defeat Malik Blade. After the match, though, Legado cut a promo. Then Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner come out and confront them. And they both want a tag team title shots. And then Imperium showed up top on the, what do you call that, scaffold, and be like, you guys fight amongst yourselves. The winner fights us at WarGames. I'm like, all right, so that's what they're going to do here. While, oh, by the way, speaking of tag teams, MSK is been on the run the last few weeks trying to find that. I don't know.
I love that stupid story.
What do you call it? I forgot the name they're calling them, but
they revealed what MSK stood for, but we couldn't hear it. And then they're looking for their hero. To me, it reminds me of Wedding Crashers when they were looking. They kept talking about this guy Chaz. Now Chaz is the one that came up with the blueprint for all this. And then it turns out to be Will Ferrell, so I'm hoping it's going to be someone terrible.
I think it's RVD. I think because they said, remember a couple weeks ago when they were at that place that closed, and they're like, we got to go to that new street address. The street address, the first letter, the initials were RVD. So
interesting.
So I wonder if it's RVD that's going to be the one that, I don't know. What I forgot what the point they're doing. They're trying to find themselves after losing the tag titles. So I see, that's the thing. It's I kind of forgot where are they going with this story. What's the purpose?
They'll bring us all back up to speed when it culminates. They'll do a little video package and explain all of it. But I didn't catch that RVD thing. Interesting.
Check it out again when they were in the street mall. And the place was closed, and then they looked up the new address, and it's a 3-letter word for the address, but it's RVD, the initial. So I think that's what it is. I don't know.
So what you're saying is that you can confirm that Rob Van Dam is coming to NXT, right?
My sources are telling me.
Okay. Interesting.
So, and then last thing, it was announced Roderick Strong will defend the NXT Cruiserweight Championship against Joe Gacy, who, if you watch NXT, you know he's not under 205 pounds.
No.
But it all started because he cut a promo and said it's not fair that smaller guys can go after the title. What about us bigger guys? And it's too exclusive of a group. You're body shaming us.
Yeah, he's the voice of the wrestling fans.
So Roderick Strong and Diamond Mine comes out and he's like, all right, you want a title shot? I'll give it to you. So Joe Gacy is going to have a title shot for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and he's nowhere near 205 pounds. All right, I guess.
Sure. But it's funny because it's I'm watching. I watch NXT on a delay, and I made a post from WCW Fall Brawl 2000, and it's Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, and Kevin Nash coming into the arena, and they all blow this kid off. But in my comments, this guy got upset about it, and it's just dude, it's a work. What is wrong with you?
Same thing. That guy is probably the same type of guy who will go jump a barricade and try to attack a wrestler.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
not cool, guys. He's probably one of their kids or someone's kid.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not a kid from the crowd.
The kid was laughing if you look closely, he's smirking.
Yes.
He's awesome, I get to be part of the show. And I'm sure afterwards they all probably took group photos together and autographed a bunch of stuff for him. I mean,
that kid grew up to be Cody Rhodes.
I do want to ask you real quick, speaking of Diamond Mine, Ivy Nile. Dude, that match, I like how she was doing push-ups on her opponent. And
second match.
Is that her second?
Second TV match.
And it would be. That submission hold, she had him in a headlock, but put her arms around her back. I was like, that's awesome.
I've not seen someone do that. It was just kind of
Yeah.
I can see the pressure there.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is pull forward.
Yeah. Oh, the pressure point there. So, all right.
Who
Well,
was the girl wasn't bad either.
Ulysia Leon. I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's an enhancement name, but
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
In 6 months, she'll have like her official new name and starts getting a push on her own. So
yeah, sure.
that's the thing. You watch like the local quote local talent. I mean, they reemerge with a different name in like a few months. So keep an eye on them. So, but yeah, so that's more or less NXT this week. It really set everything up for WarGames. Next week will be the go home show for WarGames. But yeah, it got everything more or less lined up. 5 matches so far for WarGames. I mean, I would imagine they probably can keep the same format, 5 matches, unless they add a 6th one for a kickoff show or something like that.
I think the one I'm looking forward to most is Roderick and Gacy, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I have, it's hard to set high expectations because everyone's so new.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And that ladder match at the last one wasn't the greatest.
Yeah. And that's going to be interesting is, I don't want to use the term green, but a lot of the younger talent, inexperienced talent.
But a lot of them are green because like they weren't wrestling on the indies. Like Cora Jade is an indie worker. So like she has experience, but like, you look at Bronson Steiner, whatever Braun Breaker, Tony D'Angelo. I don't know anything about Carmelo Hayes. I'm assuming he's an indie guy.
I think so, but I'm saying like this is like a very, I won't say violent, but this is a high stake match that I'm curious how these younger guys are going to perform in this type of matchup.
Yeah, it's kind of sink or swim, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we know like the ladder match, the last Halloween Havoc, it was a little tough to watch some of the spots there. So
yeah, it was because there was no psychology in it. It was just spot for spot for spot.
Yeah,
There wasn't any this person's out, this person's in. It was just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So
I'm hoping we don't get because like the WarGames we've got in the past, all of them with WWE, it's all been experienced wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
No one was this fresh.
Yeah.
Unless their training program. I mean, this is going to be telling as to how things are being run right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this shit's the bed, then not good.
I know. We'll see how it goes. So looking forward to, though. Should be fun. And of course, we'll do a review for it next week as well. So on that note, let's start wrapping things up. Richard, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me at Iron Fist 1982 on Instagram.
Thank you. And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey 83. Of course, subscribe to In The Kliq wherever you get your podcast at. Subscribe to us also on YouTube. Watch the videos, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. That helps out so much. Yes.
And also don't forget to send your hate mail over to Baby Huey.
Thank
Whoever
you.
that is.
Yes, that guy. inthekliq@gmail.com. Email us. Get the merch. Click the link in our bio. Hey, it's the holiday season now, so get some In The Kliq shirts for your loved ones out there, or the pro wrestling fan that you know. So,
yeah. Or the ones that you don't know.
Exactly.
Just buy a bunch of shirts.
Just give them out to people.
Yeah.
Actually, I've heard about that. Some wrestlers will go to Pro Wrestling Tees, buy their shirts there, and then use that to go to shows and sell those. So that way
makes sense.
So that way their Pro Wrestling Tees store gets the hits, but then they get the shirts. So it saves them the time of going out and making shirts on their own. So this is a smart move.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
why not?
All right. On that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom line because Huey said so.